Close your eyes and imagine you're a child in your living room, watching the TV as the sun sets on another amazing day. The date is June 5th, 2012, and a new cartoon hits the big screen, flipping your world upside down. And that cartoon is the amazing, revolutionary Total Drama Revenge of the Island. And that kid was me. Yeah, you might have thought I was going to start with TDI, but I was only like 3 years old when that came out, so rip. Anyway, Total Drama. It's probably one of my favorite shows of all time, second only to BoJack Horseman, and it must not have been the only one who grew up loving it since it grew pretty popular at the time of its release, enough for the series to get 7 whole seasons, or 5 according to Wikipedia. But despite being such a groundbreaking cartoon, no TV show can escape seasonal rot. The first 3, maybe 4, seasons of Total Drama were probably the series' peak. They were by no means perfect, but the format worked. The characters were entertaining, the challenges and locations were engaging, and the drama was so thick you could almost taste it. But somewhere in the mix, the show lost its luster, and it seemed like the episodes were getting drier and drier. And the point of that decline in quality can be located in the 5th installment of the show, Total Drama All-Stars. What was meant to be one of the greatest seasons to ever grace a TV screen crashed and burned, not only tarnishing the good name of the series, but ruining the characters that were built up and loved over the years. It was like they took elements from the past 4 seasons, but dropped all the important and entertaining ones and left us with, well, that's what we're here to figure out, aren't we? So to understand how this overhyped idea drowned upon arrival, let's tell mom and dad we're doing fine and dive into Total Drama's worst season. The most integral part of any television program are its characters, and Total Drama was no different. Throughout its 7-year run, this series had over 70 plus characters punch, kick, and claw their way to the $1 million, each with their own distinct personality, strengths, and weaknesses, as well as motivations for victory. At the time of All-Stars' conception, 38 previously established contestants had to be narrowed down into a very small 14, and the group they chose was pretty shabby. Breaking down your draft picks, you have your finalists of every season, along with those who did fairly well in their respective seasons, but they're missing some key players in favor of some less desirable ones. For starters, they left out Owen for some reason. It's fair that Beth, the other missing finalist, wasn't chosen since she's not really a fan favorite and she's only competed in 2 seasons, pretty much being a blur in the background of everything she's been a part of. But Owen is a straight up titan. He won the first season while making it pretty far in action on World Tour. And if you think, oh, maybe they just couldn't get the voice actor, Owen just shows up at the tail end of the finale pretty much out of nowhere. The other people they didn't add were Brick and Anne Maria, both members of the second generation cast who were shot down for unknown reasons. And the person they did choose was Sam, but we'll get to him in a bit. Other characters that were in the trailer for All Stars but not in the final product were Noah, Cody, Lashana, Justin, and Harold. Again, with no confirmed reason as to why these characters were left out. There's several fan theories, some grounded in reason while others were a lot zanier, though there weren't any concrete sources for most of these statements. But alright, they couldn't use all 20 they'd hoped for. That's to be expected when you only have 13 episodes to work your magic as opposed to 26. So they narrowed down their 20 picks to the best 14 to create some new and engaging character interactions, right? Nope, not even close. Instead, they did the exact opposite. Do you see this promo picture? This pretty much describes the extent of their character mixing in this season. Aside from the first episode and minor variations throughout the season, the characters from the 2 generations mostly stick to each other. Gwen, Courtney, and Duncan are still beefing. Cameron is still glued to Zoe and Mike. Alejandro and Heather are still bittersweet rivals. They have such an opportunity to create new drama since the old cast doesn't have much experience with the new ones, while some of the new cast actually grew up watching Total Drama. The main issue is that the teams don't really leave much room for intergeneration mingling. The heroes versus villains idea might have sounded cool at first, but it takes away from one of the core pleasures of Total Drama. So many of the rivalries formed from good and evil being on the same team. Heather and Lashana, Duncan and Harold, Alejandro and Owen. When all the bad guys and good guys are separated, there's no drama. The villains bicker about who should be leading the team, but other than that, there's no sort of big looming drama concerning teammates. And the villain of the heroes team is, we'll get to him, just not right now. All in all, the choices they made concerning the All-Star cast were pretty lackluster. But considering what they did to the characters this season, I honestly feel bad for the characters they did choose. Now this video is already long enough, so if I spent this whole segment going through each character they destroyed and explaining how they changed, we'd be here all day. Wait, how far are we into this? Oh. Well, in that case, we got plenty of time. Least annoying to most annoying. Let's go! Lindsay went from being a typical blonde to dumb beyond repair and didn't even get to return in the finale. It's an all-star season, so it's understandable that she wouldn't make it far against so many more strategists and powerhouses, but she got kicked off because she was too dumb to push a cart and then voted for herself. Again. Heather, an amazing strategist reduced to a shabby elimination because she made the dumbest decision in the world. She gets the invincibility statue and then just leaves it there? Is this the Heather we know? Is this your king? Scott tried to be evil about 2 times and then gave up to be the comic relief pain monkey. I don't mind it because Scott's a funny character, but they dumbed him down a whole lot.
So you're saying Alejandro convinced Cameron to kiss Courtney to drive a wedge between us?
Yes.
A wedge of what? Cheese?
Cameron was a fine character up until the Cody Cameron arc, where he was basically just a substitute Cody because the writers didn't want to bring back the real one. Then we get to the merge and he's basically hounding Zoe and Mike like he's their kid. I know in the last season they were friends and all, but it's like he can't exist without one of them supervising. Then after that he ended up getting shafted in the Mal arc. He evaded elimination not once, but twice, and for what? So he could save the day by getting smashed by a ton of boulders? Sierra.
Cody.
She's not much of a character without Cody, even though she got 4th place in World Tour, so the writers decided to have her hound Cameron instead. That's her whole character. It's doubly annoying because it doesn't have the same charm from seasons prior. Gwen. She's fallen very far from her original Total Drama Island self, but here she's at her worst. Let's see if you can spot the difference in attitude.
Oh, what am I doing? The moment I finally become friendish with Courtney, I kiss her boyfriend. I'm a horrible person.
Courtney's bestie turned boyfriend stealer, Gwen.
He wasn't her boyfriend at the time! After 3 seasons of kindness, I'm reduced to evil kisser status. For the last time, Duncan and Courtney were over before he and I started. You can't steal a boyfriend if the boy is free! This is the worst. I only came back to Total Drama to make things better with Courtney. But now she hates me more than ever.
She's become a huge pushover for Courtney, which comes completely out of left field considering she's barely shown any consideration for her feelings in the past. And not only that, but for some reason she's switching up her story by saying Duncan was free when she stole him from Courtney? Come on now, bro. But Gwen doesn't even get it the worst out of the 3 in the love triangle. Duncan.
I'm destroying the kitchen to show you my personality. My cottage is on fire. I can't help it, I just have so much personality.
Trying to be a hunky bad boy for no reason. You know, not to sound cliche or anything, but the entire thing that made Duncan such a cool character in the first place was that he didn't care.
Cool, whatever.
So when you take that away and he starts caring way too hard, you're just left with someone who's trying way too hard to act like they don't care. Which quite frankly, is very sad to watch. Courtney. Courtney's been going through a downward spiral since Island, just like Gwen, starting off as a sweet girl with some edge, then in action becoming an unstoppable powerhouse with a whinier voice. World Tour was alright until Gwen did the oopsie with Duncan, and Courtney went right back to being an annoying powerhouse who got played by Alejandro like everybody else. But in All Stars, oh, they did her dirty. Understandably, she's still pretty mad at Gwen, but Gwen saves her life and then they just become friends again? Which is fine, considering Gwen and Courtney's little friendship in World Tour was pretty nice to see. But then Chris just says, yeah, no you're not, and they have a big fight, but they make up and become friends once more. I don't really like how overly sappy the two get as friends, mostly because they started bonding by making fun of Heather, which fits their character. But seeing both of them get so sentimental is just...
I would never let that happen. Your hair is fantastic.
No, your hair is. What's your secret?
I double condition.
gross. And then on top of all of that, Courtney double-crosses Gwen, rendering all their growth totally pointless. Zoe, dumb. Just so dumb. Zoe's already not very high on my list of characters from Total Drama I care about. I mean, she was alright in Revenge of the Island, but she's pretty meh and her character solely relied on Mike for the most part. That's not to say she didn't have her own moments. When Mike left, she proved that she could hold her own, but overall Zoe's just not for me. But in this season, she's what I like to call an ignorant virtuoso. She is so incredibly unaware that her boyfriend has xenomorphed into a cartoonish supervillain of evil, yet still skilled enough to win damn near every challenge single-handedly, carrying her team over and over and over, winning invincibility for herself over and over and over. But she can't see what's right in front of her.
Maybe Courtney is the greater evil Alejandro was talking about.
They couldn't have made it any more obvious that Zoe's a writer's pet. She BS's her way through so many episodes only to make it to the finale. In my country, she actually won. All the while, her boyfriend was going through literal insanity. It's not all bad though, they kept a few relatively untouched. I didn't mind Alejandro, his interactions with Heather were cool, but after she left he was just kind of there. Lightning was nice for the 2 episodes he was in. I wouldn't have considered him a villain before, but he definitely fit the role. Also, he was actually funny. Jo was another Revenge of the Island character I was a fan of. She made big moves in the first episode trying to enforce her dominance on her team, and she's a pretty enjoyable character to me at least. But then they threw her out like immediately, so kinda gotta wonder what the point of all that was. And last up was Sam. They couldn't really derail his character since they were too busy beating the shit out of him. Like there is not a moment where Sam was on screen and he wasn't getting his ass kicked. Seriously, I think he might take home the trophy for most abused player. Well, second most abused player. Wait, no. Third. Maybe fourth? But no characters got the shaft harder than Chris and Chef. Chef had about 10 lines this season. It's probably even less than that if you don't count scenes where he's laughing or screaming. And Chris was already falling from grace. Each season saw him get considerably more sadistic in nature and less caring towards the contestants. It's gotten to the point where he's basically living on a prayer that someone gets hurt. Like he's trying to hit a new record for most teens killed in a television-related schism. Just compare his attitude towards the competitors across seasons and see how crazy he's gone from his initial debut.
You're full of surprises. But reading another chick's diary out loud to the whole world, man, that is whack. No kidding, that's really messed up, dude. Just to set the record straight, my sets are not cheesy. I lost 3 interns moving those rocks into place.
How's Owen doing?
Oh, Owen's fine. A little broken jaw, but it's all wired shut now. Shouldn't take more than 4 to 6 weeks to heal.
Oh no, it's that bad?
I mean, he's doing fine. That's what release forms are for. Correct, Amundo? Okay, less chatter, more splatter. Climbing, more climbing. We'll leave the splatter to fate.
You can't seriously expect us to throw these dummies into an active volcano without safety equipment.
As the saying goes, no excruciating pain, no $1 million gain.
What the heck was that thing in the forest?
I'm pretty sure that cry does not belong to any known animal species.
Relax, it'll all make sense eventually. And watch your step. Those sinkholes are everywhere. Whoa! Wait for it. See ya, Josh. Enjoy your new job at the circus. I'd wish you all good luck, but it's bad for ratings. So, I hope some of you get really hurt. Congratulations on making it to the finale. It's something you'll regret for the rest of your lives, which will likely be rather short since this final challenge is so vicious, so brutal, so savage that our lawyer said we had to change it.
So you made it less dangerous?
No, but we told them we did. High five.
People gonna die.
Yeah, those people.
He's always been blasé to the scary nature of the challenges, generally carefree and egotistical whenever he's on the screen. But the level of insane he goes to in All Stars just makes his character unbearable. The only saving grace is that Christian Potenza is a really good voice actor, but it only makes the raunchier lines sound even more irritating. And since he's the host, he gets most of the dialogue in the episodes. Obviously. Wrapping all this up, pretty much all the characters acting out of character makes me feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience. Whether these choices were made on purpose or with full intent or just a lack of proofreading due to not having enough time, it's certainly confusing to say the least. Now this season's Elimination Order would be disappointing if they didn't leak it so many times. First on the Cake and Old Fresh TV website where they list out the characters appearing in the season in the order that they're eliminated in. Also, side note, this season's synopsis should really clue you into how bad the season really was. The contestants are in it to win at the hand of backstabbing, conniving schemes, and even love? Ugh! Then they had the final 4 in order of elimination left to right in the first episode. I'm pretty sure they accidentally leaked a couple scripts too, but I couldn't find any articles about it, so for now it's just speculation. My point here being, they could barely keep the order to themselves, which is something I definitely want to do if my name was attached to it. To start, they take out all the slow burn during eliminations. In previous seasons, especially Island, there was a ton of build-up to see who was going to get kicked out of the competition. Even if you knew exactly who was going home, they held that suspense for as long as they could.
It's cool. I had a good time.
What are you doing? You're wrecking it! That's another vote for Beth. That's 3 votes for Duncan, 2 votes for Beth.
Hurry it up!
I will not let you spoil the nail-biting tension I am deliberately weaving here.
But in All-Stars, there's absolutely no chance of any surprise when it comes to who's getting eliminated. Oh man, Lindsay's a bad pusher and asked herself how to move a baby carriage. Lightning can't count to 7. Sam threw the challenge for some reason. Heather's just an actual idiot for leaving the invincibility statue behind. And speaking of Heather, another issue is that there's too many screen hogs taking up all the episodes. Out of the 14 players, 6 All-Stars have already won a season. Great. So taking it into consideration, why are so many of them taking huge amounts of screen time? We all know that they're probably not going to win again despite it being an all-star season, so you'd think it would be possible. So just give us fewer characters we're used to seeing a million times, more of those we actually want to see win. They completely trash on any characters that could have won or that people wanted to see win this season. Almost like the writers are trying to shame us, the audience, for thinking that people who haven't won yet and have almost won in the past can win given another chance. They do play fair though. They treat the previous season winners with the exact same amount of respect. Which is none. Cameron avoids getting eliminated twice, only to get kicked out from an injury. And Gwen somehow makes it all the way up to the Final Four just to get thrown out for recreating a portrait using...
Oh, it's avant-garde! It's stylized! It's... It's bear poop.
Classy. Real classy. And to top it all off, the finale ends up being between Zoe and Mike, 2 characters that literally nobody cares about. Okay, well, maybe not no one, but out of all the possible winners, you give it to 2 newbies, one hella oblivious to everything and one not even in control of his own body? Of his own decision, mind you. There's a joke going around on the forums that had the season's boot list been reversed, it would have made for a much more better, entertaining watch. And I 100% agree. For one, it would cut out Zoe and Mike early, rendering the entire Mal storyline non-existent, but it would also cut more finalists to make room for the others. And there are a lot more characters kicked off in the first half that I want to see win than the second half. And speaking of characters in the first half, can we get more respect for Sam? The writers gave him the short end of the stick by making him a discount Owen who everyone wished was Brick instead, but he had potential. Sam's Revenge of the Island run wasn't terrible, it wasn't all-star worthy, but that's what makes him strong. The fact that no one would have expected him to go far. And before you call me an idiot for thinking Sam could win, take a second to think. Did anyone expect Cameron to win Revenge of the Island? Probably not, right? So is it really that far-fetched that Sam could have sparked out a win by flying under the radar? Alright, I went on a bit of a rant there. Basically just poor writing choices all around. The eliminations were super... Hold on, give me a second. The eliminations were super abhorrent, and I don't really have a fondness for them. Moving on. Mal. Just Mal. Where do I even start with this guy? My theory is that they didn't really know what to do with Mike since A, he's a boring character on his own, and B, in the season prior, his entire stay on the island was spent trying to control his alternate personalities. He was eliminated pretty much immediately after his storyline came to a close after Scott felt like Mike had run out of usefulness. God, Scott was so evil. And that was the end for him. So instead of letting Mike be himself, or, you know, just kicking him out early, they got lazy and tried to write him a new personality to get around the dilemma and keep him around. A character who fits more with the Pacateo cast than he does with All-Stars. A character who looks like he'd blow half his money at a hot topic if he won the $1 million. A character who ruined the season's otherwise fairly good start. No kidding, this moment right here would signal the downfall of the writing for the duration of the season. What's his motivations for his actions? Why does he want to be evil? When does he become triggered? Why did it take Mike throwing a boulder on top of himself to activate Mal's unearthly presence? They have an entire team worth of new and old villains at their disposal, but instead they make them all powerless to Mal, of all people. Alejandro, who damn near got everyone in World Tour eliminated, got his Spanish wrists crushed by a bony man with no upper body strength. Cameron, one of the smartest people on the show, who literally helped Mike with his MPD the season prior, trusts Mal 100% despite all the suspicion and bad acting surrounding him. And Zoe. I've already voiced my issues with her, but dear God, was she dense. Everything this character does annoys me. The only satisfaction I get is when I get to see him on screen making a fool of himself. And considering he's a terrible villain who takes up a majority of the screen time, that happens more than you think.
Mike? What happened?
Hey, Zoe! I was just helping to water the plants, and I dropped one against the wall. So...
The last time I saw Cameron will likely be the last time I saw Cameron.
What did you do to him?
Nothing. I tried to help, but he would not accept.
So you just left him hanging there? Not cool!
Interesting. I never mentioned that Cameron was hanging.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
It would be one thing if it was just a minor side of Mike that occasionally causes issues, which would still suck, but by episode 6, Mal is the main personality controlling Mike's body. Wow, this is starting to sound like a sci-fi film. The character pretty much has no motivations until the season's finished. Most of his actions are just fucking with people just for existing, I guess. And it mostly boils down to,
oh yes, I do want this evil prize money because I'm...
The only real prefix we get to Mal is Duncan saying he met Mal back in juvie somehow, which he remembered because, get this, he whistled.
And who's heading to Boney Island?
I'll go.
I know that tune.
Insane. And if all that wasn't bad enough, this quote-unquote villain, this total drama fan fiction OC in the making, gets defeated by a reset button. They cure Mike's MPD with a reset button. And this is supposed to be a reality show. If that's not insulting to you, then I don't know what to say. They made an anime villain their main antagonist in their parody of reality TV. I get that they needed someone to stir up the conflict for the season, but this wasn't it. And now that we've gotten out of my least favorite part of the season, we can move on with a more calm segment, although this aspect of the season isn't really enjoyable either. This point ties into all the others, but so much of the season is destroyed due to poor writing and continuity errors. From the challenges to the characters to even the little things like the dialogue. Let's start with challenges since it's probably the most boring aspect of All Stars. One of the main highlights of Total Drama is its creative list of challenges that it stirs up for its competitors. They've usually had some type of theme, action being movie genres, World Tour being based on the country that they land in, or Event of the Island being centered around the newly dumped toxic waste. And in this season, they had a pretty good idea to start with, make the All-Star challenges based on challenges from previous seasons. The first 4 challenges are great, amazing, combining older challenges to make completely new ones. But by the time they get to episode 5, they've completely lost their steam. Walk to the other side of an island with a blue moon. Save Chris from certain danger in a cave. Just a boat race. Make ice cream. Hell, most of the challenges aren't even composed of 2 parts anymore. This is the 3rd season with them being on the same island, 2nd one in a row, and without the toxic element gimmick from the last season, it's not hard to understand why the challenges in this one felt so uninspired. Still inexcusable, but understandable. And it's not just the challenges, it's the characters too. Everything seems extremely rushed, which is obviously a product of only having 13 episodes to tell your stories, but instead of cutting certain storylines entirely, they keep everything in half-assed. Duncan is somehow a goody two-shoes out of nowhere and wants to prove he's bad. He manages to know Mal from juvie, yet they have little to no interactions at all, and that fact is never brought up ever again. They couldn't, or didn't want to, add Cody in All Stars, so they decided to make Sierra have a crazy obsession with Cameron because he looks like Cody? I mean, if you kicked a little dirt in your eye, maybe. They couldn't, or didn't want to, add Dawn to All Stars, so they had Izzy show up for 2 seconds and look inside of Mike despite never doing anything similar to that before. Jo tries to make her team know of her power and makes friendly with Duncan, only for it to get dropped in the first episode. Courtney and Scott hang out for 2 seconds on the same team and then just become an item somehow. After pretty much beefing for an entire year, Gwen and Courtney are just friends out of nowhere, and then they're not. So many things just happen on the show with no reason or conclusion. Hell, I've rewatched this show about 8 times, and each time I keep forgetting to remember that Gwen and Duncan break up in this season.
I can't do this anymore. It's over.
What just happened?
Yeah, I'm asking the same thing. Apparently these writing mishaps were caused because some of the people in the writing room didn't acquaint themselves with previous character storylines before trying to write new ones, which is just like, what? Like, it's one thing for that new person to not know, but for everybody in the room who does know, just letting all these blatant errors slip through the cracks. Stuff like Mal magically acquiring Courtney's dumb list that she had kept in her breasts, or Courtney saying that she kissed Alejandro back in World Tour. It's just pretty insulting. When you combine this lack of proofreading your scripts with all the other animation mistakes, it makes you think about who actually even wanted to put this season into production. Total Drama All-Stars was destined to be a great show. From all angles, it was given the capacity to be the best season Total Drama had ever put out, even with all their restrictions. They couldn't use the 20 characters they started with. They couldn't have 26 episodes to let everything slow burn. They didn't have all the assets that they started with. And that's fine. But the abysmal writing plus all my previous listed points destroyed pretty much any chance of a successful turnout. They started out strong, but fizzled out quickly and crashed like a dying star by the end of it. Fans on the Total Drama Reddit are attempting to revitalize the series via Netflix, but it's all speculation and it's not actually confirmed if they'll give the cartoon a chance. Besides, the creators already stated that there's not really a market for the show anymore, which, in a climate where cable TV is getting more outcast by the day, makes sense. And the best chance of revitalization was shot down immediately on release, so at this point, all hope is kinda lost. Hey guys, it's Editing Flux here. Just want to let you know this part is outdated because a couple months ago, I don't know if you heard the news, Total Drama is coming out with 2 new seasons, which pretty much renders this part of the video irrelevant. But I couldn't really find a part for me to rewrite like the entire script, so I'm just going to put this here. Most of the points in this section and the video are still valid, but I just want to let you guys know that they are actually coming out with a new season. I am hopeful for it. Hopefully they use old castmates and don't try to do the, remaking characters thing, because I feel like it's kind of, they have some that are really good that they could, develop on. But yeah, that's it. I'll let you get back to the video. The sad thing is, most of the frustration that comes from All-Stars comes from the missed potential rather than a complete lack of ideas or execution. No, that honor is reserved for... But that's a video for a different day. Yo, what's up? Thank you guys for watching the video, and let's just skip to the end. Then, I think I still get a view off of it. I'm not sure how YouTube analytics work nowadays, but if you watched it and you got this far, thank you. Right here, I think on this side, should be some credits or something. I'm not sure. Still editing this video. I'm not sure when this is going to come out, honestly, because how long I'm taking on it. But, like I said, thank you for watching. This video took a long time to do. I started making it back in, I think, April of 2020. And I started, making a script for it around December. So I'm honestly just very eager to get this video out so I can work on other things. It's definitely, it's not the best. I actually learned how to do Premiere. I edited this on Premiere. I was basically learning stuff as I was going. So there might be several points in this video where it looks kind of amateurish, and that's because, well, still kind of getting used to it because I've been editing on iMovie for most of my life. So doing this is, kind of hard, but I'm getting used to it. I have a bunch of new video ideas for you guys. When they will actually get put into motion is TBD, because I honestly haven't written any scripts. I've just been trying to get this video out of the way so that I could feel like, I actually finished stuff. And I don't know, I just feel very passionate about this. I mean, not like I'm dying to tell people about my love for Total Drama or whatever, but I felt like it's just something. I just like making videos. I'm just rambling. Anyway, that's it. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Share this with your peeps, your bros, your homeboys, and yeah, it's about a wrap for me. Peace.
Hype is sold more than product these days. There's more effort put in hyping something than into the actual product that's being hyped. The feeling of being hyped for something that doesn't deliver is one of the worst feelings ever. It feels like the very thing that kept you from enjoying it was your hype. It couldn't meet your crazy high expectations. Maybe if you went in with 0 expectations, you would have enjoyed it. It's too late for that now.